I love the way you are a very open man, honest man, vulnerable. You share about your life experiences in a way that is uncommon.
Yeah.
And I would like to thank you for really being open. It speaks to me as a preacher and as a
I
teacher,
appreciate that.
because sometimes as a preachers we tend to be superficial.
Yeah.
We just communicate, but we don't talk about what happens in our lives. And thank you. So that will help us to go in our topic.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned that I was reading your bio, and let me read it actually. Let me read part of it.
Sure.
I'm not gonna read the whole of it on the website of Bellson Bible Church. It says, I'm starting from the middle. It says his life's trajectory took a sharp turn shortly thereafter as his family moved states and he fell prey to a neighborhood predator. The next several years were filled with sexual abuse and confusion as Gary experienced heartache that would translate into fear, shame, depression, anxiety, and doubt down the road. In his early teens, Gary succumbed to these dark emotions and experimented with drugs, alcohol, and was a way to cope with the pain. The Christian life he thought he knew unraveled, and Gary was on the run, away from God, away from church, away from the only source of healing and hope for his fractured heart.
Yeah.
Would you tell us about what happened? Because you mentioned about sexual abuse. I know it's a touchy subject. It's sensitive for so many people. For you,
Yeah.
you are healed. You can talk about easily.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about what happened to you?
Sure. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and that's why I put it out there. And I've had people that have come to church because they read that, and it resonated with them because they've been through it too. There's a lot of people today that have experienced similar abuse. I'm sure. I don't know what the statistics are, but it's pretty high. But for me, like I had said, growing up in Indianapolis in the suburbs, upper middle class family, Christian school, I had my Christian bubble. I was very protected. Well, we uprooted the family and we moved from Indiana to Illinois for a job transfer for my father. And it was in that neighborhood where I became the target of a predator, a young man. I was 10, turning 11, and he was 17. And so I wasn't his only victim, I found out later, but he just befriended me. And I was so clueless as a child. And my parents, they were clueless, unfortunately. But he befriended me. He used to buy me gifts and it was strange. Looking back, it's very strange. Like if you saw that happening today, no, people, your alarms would go off, right?
Flag, yeah.
But just a lot of naivety, I think, on my parents' part at the time. But I don't think it was quite the thing. We didn't have the awareness maybe back then. This is in 1983, I think, 84. So long story short, yeah, he began to abuse me, and it went on for the next. We were only in Illinois for a year and a half, and then we moved back to Indiana, to Brownsburg, Indiana. Well, turns out this predator who had befriended me also moved to Indiana and followed our family and continued to abuse me for another year or so until I got to be about 13 or so years old, and I was at this point old enough to understand and put an end to it. Thankfully, God gave me the courage to do that.
You told him to stop.
Yeah. I separated myself from him and just cut off all communication. And so during that time, I'm a child. I cried. I was ashamed. I was confused, and I never shared it with anybody. I was scared, How do you deal with something like that, as a child? And I think about, I have 3 boys, if something like that happened to them, it's just tragic. It's terrible. And innocence was shattered for me.
Yeah.
And it was a very difficult time. Not only were you uprooted from your foundation and this solid foundation and family and environment that you had, not only were you uprooted and taken out of that, but then you were planted in a completely new environment, and then this happens on top of that, and it just really did a lot of damage to me, which I didn't fully understand until I continued to live life. And so that went on for several years. By God's grace, I was able to find a voice and stop it. And so I'm thankful for that. But I even as a teenager, never told anybody because I didn't know. I didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't know how do you respond. What do you do? Shame, guilt. I was a victim, but there's still ways that I think we can feel ashamed and guilty, as if
it was your fault.
As if it
Sometimes
was
you
my
blame
fault
yourself.
somehow.
Yeah. You do blame yourself sometimes.
You do. It's strange, but I understand it a lot better now. So that's then we moved back to Indiana when I was around 13 and started 7th grade in Brownsburg, Indiana, and tried to start a new life, and new school, new friends, but I don't know if you wanted to go into the struggles I had as a teenager,